Let's talk about building the mobile content marketplace. And first, some challenges that exist. And the very first one, of course, is that right here, right now, we're experiencing a revolution. And that revolution is co-opting our ability to manage, control, regulate, and ultimately control our brand. And while companies are particularly interested and concerned about their brand, countries are even more concerned. The whole aspect of cultural preservation is being frayed at the edge by the advent of global social media. And if you think about even where we are today, Catalonia, they have a beautiful region, beautiful city, a great cultural heritage which continues to be eroded at the edges by a constant attack by through the media and by social media. And if you think about the brands, if you will, of the cultures of places like South Africa, like India, and of course Switzerland, every country now has a brand. And if you don't control your brand, your cultural preservation, then someone else is. And that's what I want to talk about today. So there are 4 challenges that exist, or waves of trends that are going to create the challenges that we're going to have to deal with and that we are needing to deal with right now. Population demographics, the fact that expectations by individuals and collective communities are much, much higher now. So there's an expectation economy, if you will. The whole aspect of anything that can be digital is digital or will be digitized. And then finally, the concept of global brandization, which to me is one of the key areas that erodes cultural preservation. So first and foremost, let's talk about population demographics. And I'll introduce to you another colleague. This is Hans Rosling from the Karolinska University in Sweden. And he does a thing, his main focus now is to expose the myths that we have about what we call third world countries. And so what I want to do is share with you a little bit of his research. And you can see along the bottom the median age of the countries. The countries are represented by colors as per the map on the upper right. And the size of the circle is the population. And then the y-axis is the life expectancy. And you can see what's happened since 1950. And so you can see the world's populations are clustered, of course, in different areas. And that as the years go by, increases in public health information, in sanitization, in food resources, have allowed the median age to extend because the life expectancy extends. And so you have a different population than you did 20 years ago. And more importantly, you're going to have a different population 20 years from now. And hopefully you'll all be in the room regulating that. So that's the second thing I want to talk about, is the expectation economy. And now we have what's been termed information lust. So in this broadband mobile community or opportunity that exists in the world today, users are no longer, as you know, just making phone calls, but as they get smarter and smarter handheld devices, they're using the broadband networks, the mobile networks, to augment their own reality. So this first one is you can be driving along with your heads-up display in your car and find out where the nearest Starbucks is. You can see what your Facebook friends are doing while you're online and driving. And I'm not sure that's a good idea. The one on the bottom, you can see an augmented reality of the carbon emissions of the cars and other vehicles as they drive down the road. And so monitoring of that and that instantaneous information. And finally, you can even figure out or find information about individuals and look at and see what these people have been doing. So this expectation of instantaneous mobile information is a key driver for us. Then, of course, there's this concept of digital mediaization. Everything that can be digital will be digital. And that means it affects all aspects of our interaction with one another. So there's a new geography, a geography not based on the political boundaries, again, but by the networks, the social communities that exist. There's a new language. How many people know what that says? That language is the language of our sons and daughters. It's the language of texting. There's a new dictionary. So as some of you may have heard, this is the final year for the printing of the Oxford English Dictionary. We won't see another printed OED again. And so now you just go online and type in a word, and it will tell you the meaning, etc., and you can then win at Scrabble. It's the new network. So we think about the network, and we're going to talk a little bit more about telecommunications and broadband networks, wireless networks. But in fact, this is the network that people really interact with. It's those networks of social communities. There's new media, so there's the existing media, the current media, the old media, and now we're seeing new media. And I think that video did a great job of explaining how many people are engaging with the new media. There's new news. So the newscasters, the news journalists that exist are being augmented, probably not replaced, as we heard this afternoon, but augmented by citizens, by handheld video cameras, by video cameras in cell phones that are immediately uploaded via our wireless networks and posted on various social media as well as the news sites themselves. There is a new publisher, and that publisher is you. You can write something. You can publish it on your blog immediately. You could write a book, and Amazon has just made it available that you can self-publish your book. And you can also do that on a site called Lulu, in which you can go and order a book, and it gets printed on demand. But printing, of course, is going to the past. There's a new composer. You can work collaboratively over our wireless broadband networks with other people to create music with these various applications. There's the new radio. You can create your own radio station. You can be your own DJ. You can distribute your own news over internet radio. And so what does this all kind of land with? There's a new result of the consumer, and the consumer with those high expectations has got perpetual irritation. Irritation with speeds of broadband, with the coverage of your mobile devices, with the kinds of access to applications, to the fact that they can't get their media assets, meaning that movie that they want in German, even though I'm in France and I can't get it across borders. They're irritated. They're irritated with us. And these are why we have to be especially attentive to these issues. And then finally, global brandization. And we all know the effect of this. This creates a homogeneous world, the world that is the antithesis to cultural preservation. And so large global brands, again, erode at the edges of trying to create or maintain our identities as individuals in countries around the world. So what can we do about it? I'm going to share with you some ideas, some thoughts, some things we've already done in Canada to try and address these issues.